Luther, or Jerron, whatever you call me. Just gonna give a little quick update as far as the story. A lot of people don't know the exact story of what's going on, but I'll give an update. So today is January 11th. A lot of people know I've been on the transplant list for kidney-pancreas. So I ended up getting that call November 30th, and it was a blessing. It was a crazy call. Got that call and came in same day and got the procedure done. It was successful, which was a blessing. And I don't remember the procedure at all, but I woke up, my mom was here, Gaby was here, dad, my stepmom, Carlisa. Everything went successful. Then went home. Of course, you have, recovery. I was in the hospital for a few days and went home. But after a while, a couple of days, I was having some fevers and other symptoms that were kind of alarming to the nurse who said, come into the hospital. So came into the hospital. They really couldn't figure out what the issue was because they couldn't bring my fevers down at all. But other numbers are elevated. But they ended up treating it, and I ended up getting back to a place of stability, which was cool. It wasn't a terrible stay. I think it might have been maybe like 8 days. Can't remember exact days, but I'll write a chart. I'll put it in a video or something, or in the caption or something as far as like my hospital stays. But went home for a couple more days, maybe about 6. And then I had fevers again, and it was like real bad. The one I can specifically remember was on Christmas. It was terrible. I didn't get out of bed the whole day. I literally couldn't move, couldn't drink water. It was a chore to take my medicine, which, take immunosuppressants, you take a whole bunch of other stuff. So I was taking maybe 12 pills a day. So it was hard, and then I was 2 times a day. So it was just hard to do anything, but that was really the only thing I could really do on Christmas. Didn't really celebrate, I don't even think I could say Merry Christmas until maybe about like 11 p.m. to my wife, which sucked, but I couldn't move. So I ended up going to get lab draws the next day on December 26th. And that's kind of when everything started as far as now, like as far as where we are now. So went and got blood draws in the morning, and it was pretty hectic. They didn't even have a slot for me. I had to make an appointment for me that day. So that was just God looking out to get me in the actual appointment. So when I got the blood work done, they ended up calling me maybe an hour later and saying, hey, the liver numbers are looking a little concerning. So they were concerned about liver failure because other numbers started coming back in, and they were like, you know what, we're going to have you come in and get a automatic admission. And I was like, wow, it's pretty severe because typically you have you weighed, and all that. They said, no, you're going to have a bed ready within an hour. So we were at a restaurant just getting some to-go food. I barely even got to eat my food before they told me bed is ready, come to the hospital right now. So we go to the hospital. That's where really everything started. And ran all these tests. Main thing was they realized that the the liver numbers were so off. And then I had a lot of fevers. It was bad. And talking like 103, 104s sometimes, just all day. And that's just bad for the body, obviously. Nobody wants to have a fever, but it just shows that you have inflammation in the body or some sickness that the body's trying to fight off. And with having 2 new organs and the liver issues at the same time, they were worried about organ failure. So pushing fluids, taking medicine, nonstop blood draws, nonstop new doctors coming in. As soon as I came in, they were just on top of it. So they were looking for the cause. So I started with a lot of blood work, and they did every test that you can think of. And they just still couldn't figure out answers. Every day, doctors come in, we don't have anything, but we don't know. And some of the numbers are getting worse. We don't have anything, but some of the numbers are getting worse. So you gotta think, from my point of view, I'm not a doctor, so I don't know anything. I haven't dealt with this before. I'm just, basically recovering from a transplant. So I'm trying to hold on, and at the same time, I'm just like, what do I do? Because if they don't know, and obviously I don't know, what do I do? So honestly, I just started praying a lot. I started praying a lot. Um, just like, God, lead the way, give them answers, give them something, anything. Because, it's 4 days in, 5 days in, they just can't figure anything out. And like I said, they do all these blood tests and they still coming back, everything's coming back negative. So they can't figure out what the actual issue is to treat. So if you don't have anything to treat, what medicines do you take? What treatment do you do? So that's where we're at. But people start having little inclinations about what they thought it was. And initially mono was something that popped up. So I was like, oh, well, some answers. But the numbers, I guess, apparently were so low that they weren't convinced that it was mono. Because, it was just like, it shows up, but it shouldn't be reacting this much. So stayed in the hospital a few more days, and a few more days turned into a couple weeks, and they still didn't have answers. So I had a lot of procedures actually. I had to get endoscopes, I had to get bone marrow biopsy drilled in my back to get bone marrow samples, colonoscopy, endoscopies, a lot of blood draws, a lot of IVs, and then my veins are pretty small, so a lot of veins were blowing, so I was getting, it's called like ultrasound IVs. They have to actually pull an ultrasound and scan my veins, and because the veins were just blowing left and right, so a lot of those, and yeah, I think throughout the night I'm getting tested, so it's not a lot of sleep, I'm getting stressed, back hurting, food is terrible, so I wasn't eating at all. I was losing a lot of weight. Typically before the transplant, I was 165, like 160, 165 walking around weight. My lowest weight here, I got down to 132. So I dropped 30 pounds within a month, basically. So they ended up figuring something out, and it was a rare disease called HLH. If you want to look it up, leave home, HLH. It's a very rare disease. So basically, it's something that they don't typically see. So they were like, we'll treat it because we think you have it, but we can't confirm it because it's not exactly coming back as that, but it's pointing to that. So they start treating it, and numbers start going down, and start seeing improvement. And like I said, the whole time I was just praying, and as I was praying, I start feeling more at peace with things. I didn't feel as unsure as the doctors were feeling. I felt like, God was speaking to me saying, I have, plans for you to prosper. I have plans for you to heal. And I relied on that, just basically thinking or knowing that, God is the ultimate healer for sure. The biggest, I would say, pivotal moment in the process was I decided to like really get in the Word, really, because I never really was a Christian, but I can say I wasn't never like a deep diver in my Word, but I got my Word, and the first book I decided to read was Luke. Not really sure why, but I was like, I'm gonna read Luke, and Luke had a lot of red text. Red text indicates Jesus' words, so it felt good to read, words that coming from the mouth of actual Jesus, like actual words from him. So, and surprisingly, obviously that's, they talk about the Gospels, but in that book, it was a lot of healing, a lot of faith-based healing. It's a real emphasis on being faithful and believing and having people pray for you, have people, believe on your behalf that you'll be healed as well. Persistence and faith, all that stuff. So I ended up fully surrendering. I was like, they don't have answers, but I know who does. I know who created everything. And I had the sense of, the Word is living. And, it says that. But the emphasis on Jesus being the same healer as before, years ago, thousands of years ago, the same healer now. And that was a big pivotal moment in my life where I kind of believed in that. Not gonna say kind of. I fully believed in it. It wasn't like a small faith. It was for sure. I was like, I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be healed. So I fully bought into that, and it was easy to believe because I believe the word is real. So if I'm seeing all these miracles happen, I'm like, if you can raise somebody from the dead and cast out demons and people are blind, they can see, people getting up walking that's been paralyzed their whole life, and just based off somebody touching a garment or having a little bit of faith. It's like, what would happen now if I really had full faith? And I tested it, and I gave it all over to the Lord, and I felt a sense of peace where I was like, I'm either gonna make it or not. Like, that's just the bottom line. What they're telling me I have. The mortality rate was pretty high because it's a rare case, and didn't see many here. Apparently, like, I was like case number 7 at Ohio State with this case, like HLH. So I'm like, I'm either gonna make it or not. But what's the sense of worrying? What's the sense of being so bogged down on whatever the doctor says when I know the Lord is literally stepping in front of me and making ways and working behind the scenes that anybody could ever do. Even the doctors with every single tool, piece of literature, knowledge, still not as strong as the creator of everything. So I had a sense of peace. I had a sense of relationship with the Lord, to where they would walk in and just be like, you taking it well. And I'm just like, because I'm okay. I really was okay. Even hearing some of the stuff they were saying was kind of scary, but I still found my grounding, and like I said, the biggest one is peace, and also just my faith of knowing that I was okay. I was gonna be healed. So, wild turn of events. It was maybe, I can't even remember. It might have been the 3rd. A test that came back from December 30th, and it was basically it's a rare disease, even more rare than HLH, to where they'd never seen this case before at the hospital. It's called graft versus host disease. Basically, the organs that I received somehow brought over white blood cells to my body and started attacking my body. And it didn't attack the organs like the kidney and pancreas, surprisingly. So it started attacking my liver. It started attacking, like, I had a rash. I was feeling a little sick, like with the appetite, obviously. And it's so rare because they've never seen it in a kidney and pancreas patient. Usually they see it in bone marrow because, the white blood cells, and they've seen it in the liver, like liver transplants. But they never seen it in a kidney and pancreas transplant patient. So that's what made it so rare. And I remember weeks ago someone bringing it up, but they overlooked it because it was, so rare. Like, that's not the case. But with the test that came back, you won't be able to understand all this stuff. But basically, there's a test, and the number should be like 5 or 10%, basically, of white blood cells from the host. Mine came back 92%. So basically, the disease I have is like super rare, and that's why I've been here so long. It is, like I said, now January 11th. I got admitted December 26th. So within that time frame, they've done all this work, all these tests to figure it out. And a test that came back that I took on the 30th in December finally came back to somewhat confirm that, but they're still doing tests and trying to figure it out. And I was praying nonstop. I was like, I know you gonna work different ways that I don't know. I know you will figure it out for us. And I pray, over the doctor's knowledge, pray for my peace. I pray for my, my continued faith, continued peace and strength to get through all this stuff. And it's just crazy to me how the HLH is so rare, but what they think I have is even more rare. And which is crazy because the treatment for the rare case of HLH is basically on par with the same treatment that would be for graft versus host. So they weren't even treating the right thing, but somehow it was still somewhat the same treatment to get me better while they were treating something else. So it was like I was getting the proper treatment inadvertently. And that's like, for me, I'm like, that's a blessing within itself, because they didn't know. The hands are still tied. They still, honestly, still taking tests. That's still gonna have to come back, and I'll probably be here past my birthday, which is January 19th, which I don't mind, so whatever. I came to the hospital to get answers. I came to the hospital to get healed. So I'm not in a rush to leave. I want to get healed before I leave out of here. But it's just like crazy to think about, medicine, modern medicine. They gave me medicine that hasn't even, I don't even think it was around a year ago on some of the treatment. So yeah, I'm just basically in the middle of a new diagnosis of a rare case, and we just here rocking it out. Gaby's been great as far as being a support person. She slept here multiple nights, and I alleviated her of that. I was like, hey, go to the spa, go home, sleep in the bed, go live life. There's no point in watching me sit here in the hospital bed, just do nothing all day. As I showed you, I got my little snack bags over there. I got my little hacks with the ice cream and brownies, and I watch my TV a little bit, but not really. And then, like I said, I got my word. I pray multiple times a day, which is, honestly, if you don't pray multiple times a day, you should give it a try. What I do is like a minimum twice, but I do pray multiple times, but minimum twice in the morning, and try to keep it the same time, and at night, I try to do it right before bed. The right before bed is a little hassle because sometimes I fall asleep, but I have to wake up like mid-prayer, like, sorry, Lord, my heart. But it does help keep you grounded and just having that relationship. I'm not telling anybody what to do, but I can say, even through all this, I've never been through something so hard in my life. I've never been through something so challenging in my life. And I can say I've never, ever, 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 emphasis on ever, felt more peace. I never felt more secure. I never felt more close to God. I think he does take people through moments, rough moments, to really get their attention. If you want that, because some people don't care about growth, some people, and that's their choice. Like, I'm not judging anybody. That's just a reality. Everybody doesn't do the same thing. Everybody's not a Christian. Like, everybody doesn't believe. And we have a right. We have a right for it. Like, literally, he gave us the right to do it. So, but if you ever have an inkling of feeling like you need to tap in more, I can say confidently, it's so real. Like, that word, that Bible, God himself is so real. And I pray, not to get, like I said, I'm not trying to make this like some whole holy moly thing, but having access to that, like, if you really think about it, if you are a Christian, or whatever you believe in, if you really believe in somebody, there's something that created everything. Just imagine if you really have that relationship with somebody who created everything. Imagine the peace that you can be provided. Imagine the healing that you can be, afforded. It's just, I can't explain the feeling, but I've never felt more calm. I never felt more okay. Like, and I'm just in a place of, like I said, the rarity of the case. And it's not like some rare case, like, oh, it's just treat it and go. Like, people have had this case, and I did the numbers, and I looked worldwide. Ever, it's only been 25 cases total of this, like, transplant patients, I guess, without the bone marrow, without the liver, but like kidney and I think pancreas as well. But worldwide, only 25 cases ever has been documented, and that may even be wrong, but they say 25 at most. But at OSU, none. But I think in America it may have been 2 or 3, and not all of them made it. So it's not like something that's just like, oh, you treat and go. Like, I could literally lose my life. And like I said, I reached a point of peace where I was like, well, if I do live, I can tell my story, enjoy my life, enjoy my kidney and pancreas, like, eating snacks and not have to take a shot. That's been the craziest adjustment. Like, I can just eat anything and the numbers are still fine. I mess your head up a little bit because I lived so long with the diabetes. It's just crazy not to have it anymore. But just from what I believe, if I do pass, I'm going home to paradise. Like, it's a win-win for me. Like, I don't really care, but it's just the fact that people have not made it through this, diagnosis and this disease, and the fact that they caught it. Let me say, still have to confirm it, but the fact that it looks like they caught it, and I've been here so long, and finally getting answers, which is great. It's just a wild journey. Like, it's just something I never thought that, you get a call, you think, okay, I'm just getting my, new organs and road to recovery. It's like, no, you're gonna go through a whirlwind. But at the end of the day, I learned so much more through this journey that I do want to share it. Obviously, I'm sharing it now. You know me. Most people know I don't get in front of the camera. I like taking pictures, and most people don't even see me talking. So this is gonna be very awkward and weird, but just take it. I don't care. It's been a weird journey, but I can say the life lessons I've learned through this is something I don't think I could have learned any other way, and I really do take it day by day and just find the silver lining, find the blessings within all of this. And like I said, I'm not leaving until I'm getting answers anyway. So I don't know how long I'll be here, but they said for sure past my birthday. So we'll see. Hopefully not much longer after that. But I got my shoes over there. KB brought my shoes, got some Nikes. Got me a couple outfits going. I might dress up for my birthday just to be in here, walk the lobby. Get dressed up to get poked. Yeah. But yeah, I just want to give a little update because it's just something I feel like I may as well share. It's just because I haven't given big updates and a lot of people ask, so I feel like I just, due diligence to share this because it is rare. It is something that's not common. So, I may as well document it. So here's me documenting. So it's my first ever video I've ever really made. So hopefully it wasn't too bad. Thank you for listening.